how's it feel to have your books published? Book published.
I feel fabulous about having my books published, and I feel strong like the trunk of a redwood. And I feel like
that's awesome.
I can see really, really high in those boughs of an old redwood tree.
That's awesome. Yes, that is really awesome.
Yeah.
It's a really good analogy. Like strong like a redwood.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you're just in the forest and flourishing, I guess. Just flourishing in the forest. Whatever's there beneath you, you're there.
Now in this case,
we got a congrats. Thank you. Thanks for the congrats. Thank you. That's awesome.
Do you know where they're from?
Where are you from, Chris? And thank you for the congrats, by the way. Liverpool, England.
Yay! How cool!
Wonderful.
That is awesome. And
Liverpool, yes, where the Beatles came from.
Ireland. Someone said they're from Ireland.
Oh, great! We're from Ireland.
Yeah, by
Kilclooney.
extension. I'm trying to get you in this as well. Sorry. Anyway.
She's from Murray. She's from Sligo.
Well, we're in Sacramento, California here right now, and my cat's trying to chew on the ribbon from the present from my birthday. Anyway, that's great. Welcome from folks from the England and Ireland. See the cats here.
The cat's a literary cat.
Chris says he'd like to visit California one day.
Well, that'd be wonderful.
Yes.
Come and look us up.
Yes.
We're in Northern California in the Bay Area, in Sacramento.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do we have any readers out here? What are you reading? I mean, I'm assuming that there's readers here. If you came onto this, you said, "Oh, it's novels." Someone likes novels, so what are you reading? What are you reading right now? Just any comments are appreciated. Getting a lot of hearts right now. Thank you. That's cool. We didn't get any comments yet on that one, but if you want to write what you're reading at any point, that would be great. There's my wife's on Periscope on her phone, so I'm hearing it. Anyway, I did really enjoy it, by the way. Hello. That's me. What's up? Anyway, I did enjoy Spiral a lot, and I've read all 3 of her books. But what I liked about it in particular was, as her son, this book to me struck me as wholly imagined in a world, a made-up world. Whereas the first 2 novels struck me, at least I couldn't help but see our lives in it. It's just how I saw it. But this one strikes me as totally imaginative because it's all taking place in ancient Anasazi Indian world.
The Southwest.
Yeah,
right.
Southwest.
Southwest America, United States.
Yeah, and this other novel happens to be sort of the sequel to it, even though it was basically written before.
Right.
So now tell us, how did this concept for a novels based on Anasazi Southwest Indians, how did that come about?
I went to the...
Hey, thanks, Chris. Have a good one. Someone's got to go, and feel free to stay in touch or follow me. I usually do music things, but today it's relating to all about my mom, so maybe we can stay in touch. So you were saying? Go ahead.
Okay, so I always wanted to visit the Southwest because of the Native American ruins that I had heard about but never saw myself. And in 1999, I had the chance to spend about 3 weeks there camping. And I went to this, the biggest ruins in North America. This one edifice, kind of like a apartment complex, you could call it, or more like a Colosseum, is bigger than the Roman Colosseum. And while I was there, I saw a small little house in the middle of the desert, with just the face part of the house still standing, just the front with a little doorway like a mouth and little windows like eyes. And it was like a sad house. And I saw a story in that house. And this area, which is Chaco Canyon World Heritage Site in northwest New Mexico, has an energy that anyone who gets there knows about. So the spirit of the house and the family just inspired me to write the book, the first book,
Nice.
Sundagger.
Right.
And then a few years later, a writer was saying to me, well, you know, you could write a prequel to that old story, that Anasazi story, because Sundagger takes place in two worlds, the Silicon Valley world that we live in and the Anasazi world of the 12th century. And then I had another just appreciation that I could write a prequel. I could write that old story. I could really explore it. And not only did I think I could, but I thought with the could came like I was doing it already. I was like able to do it. It was like all laid out somehow and just in that sentence I could do it. So I've taken 2 other trips to the same area, and most recently was this summer and I have a beautiful video on YouTube called My Trip to the War Gods of Chimney Rock, Colorado. And Chris, my son, who's the one managing this Periscope, is that what it is?
Yeah, Periscope.
Periscope. He wrote the music and edited the video, so you can find it. And you'll see the trip I took, and my characters in Spiral take the same trip. I had to take their trip in order to make sure I had got it right.
Yeah.
And I certainly did experience an amazing thing to take the migration that these Anasazi people would have often taken from Chaco Canyon, New Mexico, 92 miles northeast to Chimney Rock, Colorado.
Yeah. In a very different world.
Well, and actually both of those worlds were extremely different, even though the Anasazi built a complete replica of their great house from Chaco on the top of these 2 misshapen spires on the top of a mountain. The same great house, because they were worshiping the heavens in the same way.
Well, it's...
So I had the great opportunity of learning all this, everything I could about this mysterious missing culture.
Yeah.
We call it Chaco culture. It's not people. They're not a nation. They're not.
What I like about the book, Spiral in particular, is how well imagined and how much you get to go into that world that you created, that you imagined, that you saw when you went there, or you saw the potential for. Sundagger is very interesting because it's Sundagger.net goes between 2 different 2 ages, 2 eras. But I like Spiral's complete, just going into it. It gave it sort of even more meaning in a sense because of how it's sort of like the full experience, not just going back and forth between modern times and back then. It's been a while since I read Sundagger, but the impression I got was that it always seemed to be more of like a reminiscence to some degree. Now, this is a while ago, so I have to maybe reread it to figure out, but it seemed like it was... whereas Spiral, you're just in it, and those are the characters, and you're getting to know them. I just remember thinking mostly about the modern characters in Sundagger.net. It seemed like to me, and how it related to them whenever it went back in time. When Spiral, that's not the case. You're just fully in that world. And I found that very interesting because, and also the whole drama of those supposedly wise ones who were doing horrible things, it just struck me as very real. And believe it or not, I can't help but think about the Mel Gibson movie Apocalypta, which takes place in, I think it was maybe Mayan culture.
Yes.
But there's sort of this kind of sacrificial stuff going on, these supposedly like great necessary sacrifices they were trying to make of these characters, or I forgot, it's been a while, and it was completely unjust, and it just reminded me of that in a way, or it just reminded me of like good plot lines, honestly, where there's like a drama and there's people that are trying to take something they don't deserve, but they think they have it, they have the right to it, and then the characters are responding to this basically a lot of screwed up things, but they're just dealing with it. It's drama, it's contrast, it's conflict. Makes it very interesting, I think. The story. You get engrossed in the story.
And there's similarities to right now. There's a drought. There's always a drought in the Southwest. And there was a terrible drought in the 12th century, according to the scientists' best information. The drought would have made everyone desperate. And we now, in California, are experiencing a drought, and the whole world is experiencing the upheaval of their weather patterns, and the changes are not going to be fun, as far as I can read.
Yes, we're having a drought here too. Yes, we are in Sacramento. Yes, well, right. Well, the
desert is imminent.
Well, that may be true, but what I personally, as a reader, I mean, I'm not trying to take away from what you're saying, but I found what made it most interesting was the characters themselves seemed to be in believable human kind of conditions, where that could be in any island or any place or time, sort of the conflict and people being, different misunderstandings, power grabbing, people trying to find their freedom, trying to survive the horrendous craziness of the elders. There's a lot of interesting human interactions, which I think is what makes stories good. It's something like it's people interacting.
Yes, and I found a lot of research that corroborated my story too. That gave me a lot more, I guess, confidence. So I totally was into each character. The mother, Willow as a young girl. Her love for the famous water hunter.
Yeah.
Who could discover water.
Yeah.
So the animals that would follow the water is what, of course, the hunters were looking for.
Absolutely. Very interesting.
And so that's what I started out with, but then all the rest of it kind of fell into place. The matrilineal families, where the grandmother and the mother and the uncle were the main family members. I got these things in research.
Well, the characters made it very interesting. You could believe these characters, like they wanted something. That woman wanted something. Then the boy later, Little Hawk, wants something. He has things he's motivated by, and it's just these interesting characters. And it sort of was magical, like a good story does. It brought me there.